just wanted to share some concepts that as we're going throughout the I Am Woman course, we will actually be like integrating and embodying, and you will experience. However, these are just things I wish I kind of knew from the outset, and you may not grasp everything today. I have to say, like my journey with like the inner work is something you have to like experience. Okay, like literally, like as in not somatically, but it's also I would learn the concept and then I would go live my life, and then I would be like, oh my god. It's one thing like grasping a concept, it's another thing like experiencing it and living it, and that is where we really learn, is through experience. um and I'm definitely somebody, I can take in large volumes of information, I can take in the knowledge, I can read the book, and I can remember all the concepts. But it's not until you integrate it and you practice it and you gain awareness and you start like reflecting on it, that you actually get the benefits of that knowledge. And when you practice it and integrate it over and over, and you learn from it and you reflect on it, and that you eventually embody it, and suddenly like you can just see it. And that is now something like with clients and stuff, I see how I have changed and how I can see between the lines and like under the surface level of clients' problems and what they need kind of in their body, like what is going on in their nervous system, what is going on in their subconscious. As a coach, as a clinical nutritionist, yes, I can tell you do X, Y, Z, but now I can tell people do that, but I also see the emotions behind it. I also see the subconscious patterns playing in the background, and you too can learn this. That's why I created the I Am Woman method. Is at the start, this may all seem new and you'll have to practice it, but suddenly you'll see this in your own life. Like I now can have a conflict come up with somebody, and our first response is a nervous system response, because actually, when we feel threatened or triggered, it actually goes to our survival brain first. Okay, so unfortunately, we it's like you like don't get a say in it until you've neutralize that trigger over and over again. Then you'll notice, in months or years, that something that used to be very triggering for you is it doesn't affect you the same way, even in the first instance. But while we are learning this, this is the thing. Don't think you're failing if you're triggered or you have a symptom flare up or whatever it is that you know what I mean by triggered. That sets off that emotional reaction in you. But what you can control, once you are aware of what I talk about and you become more aware and start integrating the practices, is how to choose different in the second response. Okay, so you will react, but how will you respond after that? And when we're in a situation, say your partner says something and it triggers you, and initially you're like, oh my god, like I don't know, you come back with your normal reaction, like you get angry or you just want to get away from them and ignore them, which is like flight, or you think you've annoyed someone. So then if your natural thing is to go into fawn, you'll try and people please. Okay, if you've been practicing this for 30 odd years and you've only just become aware that this is something that you don't have to just react, that you don't have to choose to react that way, then you will react, but then we can pause. Okay. And how we can pause is because we've been doing our meditation and our somatic work and our journaling and our reflecting when we are in a calm state. We're already been reflecting on and thinking about, having awareness around our ways of being. So your partner says something that again you would normally react to, and you do react to it, but then you afterwards, or maybe in the next second, like sometimes if I'm not too triggered, I can actually just take a moment and I'll be like, take a deep breath. Ava does this now. She's like, um come back into it like more grounded state, and you're like, wait a second now. If everything in life is a mirror, so everything's a mirror, whatever they've done is reflecting our inner world, is reflected to us on the outside back at us. So okay, why am I triggered right now? Like, what about this is causing me to be triggered? What am I actually meant to learn from this? And number one, it can be different things. That is the that's why my course is like 6 months long, because we have to oh my god, the marker is all over my hands. It can be different things. Maybe you need better boundaries. Like they said something that made you feel like you aren't good enough or something like that. And it's like, what in me thinks that I'm not good enough? Because if I thought I was good enough, I probably wouldn't have reacted to that. Because it's like people say, if you don't have green hair, and somebody's like, I hate your green hair, you're like, okay, like it doesn't trigger you because you don't believe you have green hair. You're like, okay. Whereas if you do have green hair and someone's like, I hate your green hair, you'll be like, oh my God, why don't they like oh my God, what's wrong with my hair? Why? So if somebody says something that makes you feel like I said, not good enough, then you can't be triggered by that unless you also think that. And another thing is, again, like I said, if a boundary's crossed, then yes, that's a normal reaction to be triggered by that. But if it's not a suitable reaction to what happened, then you have to look at about where am I thinking that about myself or the world, that the world thinks I'm not good enough. The first rule is, as within, so without. Life is just an energetic mirror. Life is not happening to you, it's reflecting to you. So it is happening through you, by you. No one has the same map of the world. Nobody has the same energetic blueprint we're born with, or like soul or spirit that is unique. And then after that, nobody has the same beliefs, values, experiences, gifts, qualities, talents. Nobody's had your upbringing. Nobody, like, they may have gone to the same school, but do you know what I mean? Like, expecting everyone to get you or that everyone's the same is like your first mistake. But what is true is that the way you see the world is through your lens. We actually don't see or hear like through our ears or eyes. These are just senses reflected through our nervous system into our brain, and our brain makes meaning of it depending on our map of the world, our experiences, our beliefs, our identity, our thoughts, our emotions, how we feel about stuff. So two people go to a movie. Why does one person think that was the best movie they ever saw? And the other person's like, that is the worst movie I've ever saw. They both technically saw the same thing, but why have they both experienced it differently? It's because they're not seeing and hearing with their eyes and ears. They are just the sense organ that is projecting that to your mind. It's your mind that interprets what you see, what you hear, what you perceive, what you feel, what you experience. It is perceiving it based on your past. Like every trigger, every pattern, every person showing up is a mirror of what's already playing within you. That's not to shame you, it's to empower you. Your reality is your responsibility because it is made by you. You're attracting your experiences, you're attracting, I know this is really triggering, but your health symptoms, because for some reason you think you're not worthy of good health, or you are not worthy enough. Because what does good health like represent? It represents like energy, vitality, peace, maybe happiness, joy, freedom. And for some reason, why do you think you should not have them? Or why is it not safe to feel those feelings? So then your nervous system and then your body will act in accordance with what your subconscious deems you are worthy of, or what is playing out in your internal. But if you created it, you can also shift it. Okay. Like I said, we've already talked about like beliefs, emotions, and things, and then that's reflected in your reality, but it's also other people and like what they say to you. So we will. Ava, Ava.